Hey there, it's Mr. Dunaway. We are now in this part of the page. We left off with the top half right there, and we're going down to number 4. And I'm honestly, hopefully, thinking that you are okay with doing number 4. So I'm going to just skip over that and go on to number 5 because we need to start dealing with these fractions here. So basically, we have to stop being afraid of fractions and we have to solve it just like we've been solving. So I am going to distribute 1/3. I have 1/3 times c minus 4. 1/3 times c would be 1/3 c. Minus 1/3 times 4 is 4/3. We have to know how to multiply that fraction. Let's divide our paper up here. That's equal to 12. The 12 is not going to change. I now need to add the opposite of 4/3. I'm going to add 4/3 because it's being subtracted. So I've got 12 plus 4/3. So yeah, we have to work out 12 plus 4/3. All right, well, I'll give you a little review. Lesson on fractions again. 12 plus 4/3. You have to get a common denominator. I've got 3 there. I've got 1 here. So I'm going to multiply that times 3. And I'm going to multiply that times 3. 3 times 12 is 36. Whoops. 3 times 1 is 3. 4/3 there. Just getting your common denominator there. Golly, I can't write here apparently. 36 plus 4 is 40 over 3. Okay, remember when you add, you keep the denominators the same. So that canceled out right there, and I have now 1/3 c is equal to 40 over 3. Because I added these two numbers right here and got 40 over 3. Now I've got to solve that c, so we learned that if you multiply 1/3 times a variable, you multiply the reciprocal, which is 3 over 1, times 3 over 1. And right here you see a factor of 3 that cancels out, making that 1 and that 1. 40 times 1, you have c equals 40. Easy enough. That's how we deal with the fractions. Let's try number 6 and see if we can work through that, where we have 2/5 as a problem to work through here. So 2/5 here, we're going to distribute 2/5 times b, 2/5 times 4. That's 2/5 b plus, now 2/5 times 4, 4 times 2 would be 8. And I multiply, keep that denominator the same. So I have 2/5 b plus 8/5 is equal to 6. Now, we have to, I'll change to red here for fun. We have plus 8/5, so we're going to subtract 8/5. Okay, and we subtract that 8/5, so that would cancel out right there. That would give me 2/5 b here. That came right there. Now I have to add this part right here. Here's the hard part. You have to add 6 over 1 plus negative 8/5. Now you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to erase this old problem. You should already have that down. And you can work this out wherever you can find space on your paper. And I'm going to work it out over here just so I want to make sure you can see it good on your screen. So we're going to work out this problem right here. We're adding, so we have to have a common denominator. I'm going to multiply that times 5 and that times 5. Okay, that would give me 30 over 5 plus negative 8 over 5. Now when I add 30 over 5 to negative 8 over 5, I get 22 over 5. 30 plus negative 8 is 22. So 2/5 b is equal to 22 over 5. All right, 2/5 b. So to solve that, we multiply by the reciprocal, 5 over 2 to both sides, times 5 over 2. So when I multiply that times 5 over 2, those 5's cancel out to be 1. And 2 goes into 22 11 times. 11 times 1 is 11. B is equal to 11. So there's a nice fraction problem for us. So that's the idea. Same, you do basically the same thing there with 7 and 8 and work it through. So let's do this. Let's turn the page over. Didn't really like number 9 either, so let's turn the page over and let's look at number 10. Here we have a decimal problem. Let's work this one out. Now, since I have a decimal here, I will accept a decimal answer. A decimal answer would be just fine here because there's a decimal in the question. All right, so the expectation is fraction in the question, we work fractions throughout the problem. Please do not change these to decimals because they won't always work. They won't work because of repeating decimals and irrational numbers and things like that. However, if you have a decimal here, we're going to just work through the problem. Calculators will be handy. If you do have that fraction calculator that we had in class, you certainly can use that through the problem to make your life easier. 4/5 times x is, 4.5 times x, and then we take 4.5 times 3. I've already done that for you. That's 13.5. That equals 9.9. Okay, let's solve the problem. What's being added to the variable? 13.5, so we're going to add negative 13.5. Okay, that cancels out right there. Then we have 4.5x. That's equal to 9.9 minus 13.5 is negative 3.6. Divide that by 4.5. Divide that by 4.5. I'm running out of room here, sorry. And you're going to end up with x, that's supposed to be an arrow. X is equal to negative 3.6 over 4.5 is negative 0.8. So obviously calculators are going to be really handy for problems like that. So if you have decimals in the question, you do the same thing. The process is exactly the same. You just might want to have a calculator handy to make your life easier. All right, what I'd like to do now is take a look at a couple of word problems. But I think to do that, it would probably be easiest if I just started a new video, a third video, and work through the problems, as there's quite a bit to look at and think about as we work those problems out. So I'm going to stop this one and start up another one here in a moment.